One of the biggest economic issues facing families, finding affordable and dependable childcare. Many Hoosier parents want to work but can't due to issues surrounding childcare, and that has a big impact on business. It's estimated that childcare-related absences and employee turnover cost Indiana businesses $1.8 billion annually. That's where Indianapolis-based Child Care Answers comes in. And for more, I'm pleased to be joined by Child Care Answers Executive Director Mollie Smith. Mollie, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I want to talk about that impact. That was a big number, $1.8 billion. But child care obviously has an effect on the child, has an effect on the parent. But increasingly, it may be overlooked, the impact on business is substantial.
Yes, when we look at that very large number of 1.8 billion, we know that families, when they go to work, they want their children in a safe place. But if they're not, or they're unsure of the capabilities of those providers, they're not going to perform their best. And so employers know that looking out for their employee is going to definitely help their bottom line. We know that when you lose an employee, there's all those overhead costs that when you have to replace them, training, overtime, all of those things go to the employer. So quality childcare has a huge piece in that.
Okay, talk about Child Care Answers. Your organization, you really launched in, I think, 1985 as part of Early Learning Indiana, spun out as a standalone, one of 5 similar organizations around the state. Talk about Child Care Answers and the services that you provide.
Sure. So we really want to empower families and helping them find the best spot for their child in childcare, whether they're working or in school, and making sure that it's a safe and healthy place for them to stay. But we also work with families if they're having challenges with their children or they need some support, anything from breastfeeding to anything that has to do with that child. And so we know that if we can support them, we're supporting the greater community. We also work with employers to try to help them implement family-friendly policies. And then lastly, we also work with childcare providers opening their own business, making sure that they're going to have a sustainable and successful business.
Yeah, and the services you provide, and your particular organization is focused on Hendricks, Hamilton, and Marion counties. These are free services, right?
Yes, we actually have a state contract with the Office of Early Childhood and Out-of-School Learning. So anytime you call, any request that you have, all of those things are completely free to you. So, we really encourage you to call, whether, you are the employer and you're just looking for some additional advice on how to, support your employees, or if it's a family looking for childcare.
The pandemic has impacted, the entire economy. No one escaped it, really. How did the pandemic, or has the pandemic impacted the child care business and the services you provide?
So obviously referrals that we did definitely skyrocketed during the beginning of this because we had families who needed childcare and their childcare had closed, and so they needed a new spot. Or we had those essential workers who had different hours. And so they needed a provider who was open in different hours. So obviously that was happening. But then also we had the childcare that needed to close because of positive cases. And so a problem that we already knew that childcare businesses had a very thin margin of that of being sustainable was just exacerbated by the pandemic. So we have a lot of grants that have come out through the state and other private organizations to support these businesses to keep them open. And we know a lot of families are still keeping their children home. Maybe they're working from home or not sure whether they would like to return them to childcare. So we know that there's a lot of influx still. A lot of folks are having trouble staffing their childcare, just like every other business. So we know that it has definitely impacted, and it will continue. We'll have that residual effect for a long time. So we're just trying to do the best we can to get support for those businesses and help families understand what the best fit is for them.
Yeah, you're obviously providing services to families, but you also provide information services, education, I guess, to businesses. Are you finding more businesses are engaging in this issue?
So at the beginning of the pandemic, it was survival mode. A lot of businesses weren't interested in listening to what we had to say or really surveying their employees to see what the challenges were. But now, as some things are getting back to what our new normal might look like, yes, we have a lot of HR departments who are asking a lot of good questions to really find out what their employees need, and then asking for our services as far as, well, what can we do? What are the things that we can implement that do not cost anything extra? And then what are the things that I can supplement and support my employees so that they stay longer?
Yeah, final question, and what do you see going forward? What's next for Child Care Answers? Do you anticipate a continuing increase in demand for your services?
Yeah, we do, and we really think that the pandemic, unfortunately, as it did, brought childcare to the front of the challenges that were out there, and now people are really understanding and appreciating all of the things that come along with that. And I think that really it's, again, nationwide, statewide, in the 3 counties we serve, people understand the importance and they value it.
Mollie Smith is the Executive Director of Child Care Answers, serving Hamilton, Hendricks, and Marion counties. Mollie, appreciate you taking time to be on the show. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.